So we're going to begin by looking at how to solve when I have a missing measurement. So what I do know is when I'm trying to join together units of measurement, I can only join together like units of measurement. So there's a couple things that I would like for you to have out or nearby before we begin, which is understanding our anchor chart for converting units of measurement. I know that if I'm going from a bigger to a smaller, I'm going to multiply. So what we remember with that is best soccer mom. When I'm going from a smaller unit like your inches to a bigger unit like your miles, silly babies dancing, that is when I'm going to be dividing. So this is just a reference. Obviously you're not going to have it during an assessment, but getting it into your mind and getting familiar with it is going to make it be more natural. I'm also going to have with me my reference sheet, which I will have when I am doing my test as well as my FSA. And I just, again, want to make sure that I'm using this particular sheet because this is what I will have for both, so I want to get comfortable with it. So let's go ahead and begin by looking at the problem. It says, Miss Stutz is making 6 quarts of fresh fruit smoothies for after dinner. All right, so I know that she's making 6 quarts. Before making the smoothies, the ingredients are listed. Okay, so I got some pints, some cups, some ounces, definitely different units. And I'm going to go ahead and underline so I make sure I get to here. How many pints of Greek yogurt does Miss Stutz need to add to complete her ingredient list? So let me go back and review my important information, which is that I need a total of 6 quarts and that I have some things listed here. I need to kind of figure out what do they equal all together. Once I figure out what these equal, if I subtract this from the amount she has altogether, I will find out my missing amount. So I also notice here that my answer is going to be in terms of pints because it has pints here, and all my answer choices are in pints. So I know that all my conversions are going to need to lead me into pints. So just to kind of get me started, I'm going to go ahead and figure out, well, how much does she make? And again, she made 6 quarts, but I don't want quarts, I need pints. So I'm going to look at my lovely reference sheet here, and I'm going to figure out what do I need to do to go from quarts to pints. And I know that quart is my larger unit, so I'm going from a bigger to a smaller, and that's your best soccer mom, so you're going to be multiplying by 2. So I know very easily that 6 quarts is actually equal to times 2. That's going to be your 12 pints. So the whole thing is going to add together to equal 12 pints. So I'm going to go ahead and start by joining these together to find out what I need to subtract to 12 by. Now when I'm joining together, I actually want to start with the smallest unit of measurement, figure out what I can regroup it into, and as I'm going along, joining those like units of measurement. So when I'm looking at my reference sheet, these are always your bigger units on the left side, and these are all your smaller. When I'm going through it, it goes smaller, getting bigger, biggest. It's going to get you there. So it's kind of like a stepping stone. So when I'm looking at my units of measurement, I notice that I have ounces, and ounces is my smallest unit of measurement. I have 8 ounces, and I'm going to go ahead and take it up into cups. So there are 8 ounces in 1 cup, and I have 12 ounces. So I'm just going to go ahead and take my 12 ounces, and I'm going to divide my 12 ounces by 8 cups per ounce. That's also representative of a fraction, 12 eighths, same thing. I know that 8 can go into 12 one time, and when I subtract that, I have a remainder of 4. Now we've talked about that remainder. We can't just leave it alone, so we're going to express it as a fraction. So your remainder is going to go over your divisor, so it's going to be 4 eighths. Well, that's not really something that I can join together, so I want to figure out what do I know about 4 eighths, and I know that 4 eighths is actually equivalent to 1/2. So I'll go back to my sheet here, and I'm actually going to take this ounces here and I'm going to cross it out because now I've actually converted it into 1.5 cups when I've joined them together. So now what hopefully you'll notice is now you actually have a like unit of measurement that you can add together. I have 8.5 and 1.5. And personally, when I'm adding those fractions to make sure that I hit everything, I like to actually rewrite them going vertically. And 8.5 and 1.5. I do that to make sure that I'm not forgetting those fractions. So 1/2 plus 1/2, two options here. If you realize that, okay, I have a half a sandwich and another half a sandwich, I have a whole sandwich. Or you just add your numerators. 1 + 1 is 2, and 2 over 2 is what gives you your whole. And then adding together your whole numbers. I had 8 and 1 gets me 9. And when I join those two together, I now have 10 cups. So the total of your orange juice and your goji berry is equivalent to 10 cups. So come over here, just kind of a mental note here. These two are equivalent to 10 cups. Okay, so as I'm going up, now I'm at pints, and I can't join together cups and pints, but I do know my answer needs to be in terms of pints. So I'm going to take those 10 cups from here, and I'm going to use my reference sheet to turn those 10 cups into pints. So I'm going from a smaller to a larger, cups into pints, and I'm going from small to big. So silly babies dancing, I'm going to divide by 2. 10 divided by 2, it's a pretty easy fact, but if you didn't know it, 10 divided by 2 is equivalent to 5 whole. And again, note that I made that as a fraction. 10 over 2, 10 divided by 2, it's all the same. Think of that fraction bar as division. So that equals, that equals pints. I convert it into pints. So I have now these two together actually equal 5 pints. So I have 5 pints, and then here I had 4 pints. And so those 3 ingredients are actually going to join together to give me 9 pints. I still don't know this one, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to how much did she have? Well, she's made a total, she wants to make a total of 12 pints, and those 3 are 9 pints. So the amount that's left over, 12 pints that she had, minus the 9 pints of these 3 ingredients, equals a total of 3 pints remaining. And looking at my answer choices, this one is going to be your correct answer. There are 3 pints remaining.